to pull them out. So it sees that device ABC is associated with a context, see in the red over there. In fact, I can do there. We've got our inside context, and that tells Asterisk where to start looking in the dial plan for a matching extension number. So it's going to look for 101 in something called inside. So we see that over here as the next step. The Asterisk PBX engine digs through the configuration that it has stored in memory. It finds extension 101, and then it starts executing the steps. Remember I talked about applications and functions? Really, all those are is what you see here is in our list. We have extension 101, which has 2 steps to it. The first step says to dial a SIP device identified as XYZ, and then the next thing it tries to do, if it can't get through in 20 seconds, is to dump that call into a mailbox. So what you're seeing right here in those 2 lines is the basic PBX process taking place. That's all you really have to do if you want to build a really basic call flow for a PBX system. So Asterisk will go, aha, I'm going to dial XYZ. It creates a new channel out to it. That phone rings, and when somebody picks up, Asterisk acts as the bridge in the middle. As a matter of fact, the dial command makes what's called a back-to-back user agent. There's 2 SIP calls going on, one from 101 to Asterisk and one from Asterisk. One from 100 to Asterisk and one from Asterisk to 101, and Asterisk simply bridges in the middle. And that lets Asterisk do some interesting things like listen for touch tones coming in from either phone. It lets Asterisk record the call. It lets Asterisk really respond to all kinds of different events and manage that call from end to end. And that's what differentiates Asterisk from a number of other open source and closed source SIP-related products you'll hear of called SIP proxies. Asterisk is really powerful because it is a man-in-the-middle attack. It's just one that you've put in there to do exactly what you want. Now keep in mind that not every call that comes into Asterisk goes back out. If phone 101 over there hadn't been answered, after 20 seconds, Asterisk would have gone on and executed that next extension, what we call a priority, the next instruction in the list, and it would have dropped the call into voicemail. So that's how calls move through. Now, I guess one last really technical note on this. A lot of people say, hey, do we need to have special hardware to do VoIP with Asterisk, to do SIP or EEX or any of these VoIP protocols? And the answer is no. All you need to have is an Ethernet port and a TCP IP stack. There's no special hardware at all that's required to do VoIP. And probably everybody here already knew that, but it's worth pointing out. If you do need to tie into the PSTN, you'll need to have some kind of card slot. The cards that will let you do that are available in PCI and PCI Express form factors. For the most part, you can occasionally find other slightly more oddball form factors, but that's the majority of them. And that's how you would tie in analog lines or T1 lines. So, and I know we've got beer, so I won't drag this out too much longer, but I will tell you a number of the things that you can actually build out of Asterisk. The classic use for Asterisk is a PBX. That's what Mark intended when he sat down 12 years ago and started typing. And that's what most Asterisk systems are. Now that can be a PBX on the small scale for a small office, home office situation, or it can be a PBX for an enterprise, or it can really be a switching system in a call center. So call switching is really what Asterisk was built to do. It's just that we've gone and built a lot of other stuff around it. So if you want to build a phone system out of Asterisk, you can do that fairly easily if you know a little bit of Linux, a little bit of VoIP, a little bit of networking, and some scripting. You can sit down and put something together in a few days, probably. But I will point out that if you're looking for a business communication system that's based on this, that is a fair bit of effort to get something that is production ready. There are a number of companies out there who have prepackaged Asterisk-based communication solutions. And while I'm certainly an advocate of open source, I'm also an advocate of businesses making money. So rather than spending time building a phone system, there are a couple of other options you might consider. So if you're looking for something that saves money but is still based on an open source solution, our company, Digium, makes a product called SwitchVox, which is a very powerful phone system that is based on our Asterisk underlying engine. It takes a lot of the PBX capabilities of Asterisk, and it sort of wraps them up with a nice, pretty GUI that almost anybody can administer, so you're not going to have to be a Linux expert or a programmer in order to manage it. Now, to deploy it, you'll probably still need to know a little bit about networking, and you're still going to want to know a little bit about telephony. And in that case, we have a whole network of resellers who are more than happy to come and help do that for you. Now, the other thing I'll say is that if anybody here is in the services business, we're always looking for more resellers for these products, both for the Switchvox pre-built system and also for people who want to become Asterisk integrators and build custom solutions for clients. So do keep that in mind. If you need something that is free and that is open source and that is based on Asterisk, I'll also point out Asterisk Now. Asterisk Now is a pre-built distribution. It comes basically as an ISO image. So you'll download the ISO, burn it to a disk, flip it into a computer, boot it up, and it will install in about 20 minutes, and you'll have a fairly basic working Asterisk implementation. And you do have a choice of putting either no graphical user interface on top of it, or you can select from two open source, relatively straightforward, basic graphical user interfaces, FreePBX and the classic Asterisk GUI. Either one of which will help you get through the basics of setting up the system and using it. It's not nearly as feature-rich as the commercial version, but we recognize that not everybody needs a commercial phone system. So other things that you can do. Well, Asterisk is frequently used as a media gateway. So a media gateway or a VoIP gateway is a device that sits between legacy telephony, either lines or equipment, and VoIP lines or equipment, so to speak. So if you want to connect a modern VoIP system that does not have any connectivity for PRI lines or analog lines, with those, Asterisk makes a fairly inexpensive means of doing that. You simply take Asterisk, a computer, and one of those PCI or PCI Express cards that I was talking about, wrap it up, and in a matter of usually only a few hours, you can have a system that will pass calls from one to the other. Likewise, if you've got a legacy PBX system and you want to take advantage of the cost savings of VoIP, you can make a VoIP gateway out of Asterisk that looks to the PBX just exactly like the phone company does. It just looks like another PRI line coming in, but it's able to then route the calls out across the internet, saving you usually tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of years or your life. So another very frequently built application, and another one of the things that makes Asterisk really an interestingly flexible solution. IVR is another one that's really common. Now, IVR is, well, it's that annoying stuff that you get if you call your bank or if you call your drugstore for a refill. It's the sort of technology which allows people to automate routine, repetitive tasks that would otherwise take up some person's time. So it's not nearly as prevalent as it was a few years ago because now the web automates a lot of the tasks. But there are still people all over the world that do things by phone, and IVR built on Asterisk is a really easy way of doing it. Because to write IVR applications, really all you're doing is writing dial plan code. Dial plan scripts that take care of things like dipping to a database, pulling back information, and then playing that information back to the caller, either using a text-to-speech system or using some kind of concatenated speech where you pull a number of files together and then play them back all in one long line. Building this is really one of the simplest things you can do out of Asterisk, and there are thousands of IVR systems out there. In fact, if you've run into something, once you hear the Asterisk voice, you'll know Allison Smith, and I'm sure you'll recognize her again at some point when you call a bank or a phone pharmacy. Another very popular application for Asterisk is in the call center. Asterisk is, again, scriptable, flexible. It includes capabilities of queuing calls up and then delivering those queues or those queued calls to agents using a number of different what we call queue strategies. So if you're trying to deliver those calls based on whoever's been idle the longest or whoever's the expert for a particular field, you can do that using Asterisk. That's frequently called automatic call distribution or ACD, and that's kind of what Mark was aiming for all those years ago when he actually created Asterisk, was the ability to do that sort of call delivery. Asterisk's unlimited queuing. There's no hard limits set on how many queues you can have or how many agents you can have or how many calls you can process. Its integrated historical and real-time reporting capabilities really make it ideal for building mission-critical call center solutions. And the manager interface really gives you the ability to control it in the way that call centers normally need to control calls. So If you want to be able to redirect calls based on digits dialed by somebody or based on conditions in the call center, move them from one group to another, one queue to another, etc., you can do all of that automatically. So if you don't necessarily feel like building a call center solution from scratch, they're much like the PBX. There are a number of pre-built call center solutions based on Asterisk, and you can find those in the Asterisk Exchange, which is our community marketplace. A conference bridge is another really commonly built application. Conferencing is great because you don't have to travel to a conference, though I kind of like going to them. And it's great because it saves your company money. You don't have to travel. You are able to be more productive. As a remote employee, I spend a lot of time in conference bridges. If you have a classic legacy phone system, the only way to add conferencing on is to buy that phone system manufacturer's expensive conference bridge, usually for tens of thousands of dollars, or pay 17 cents a minute to AT&T or whatever conferencing service you're going to use. And again, if you're like me and you spend hours each week on conference calls, that would add up in a big hurry. Well, Asterisk lets you build conference bridges basically for free. The Meet Me conference bridging application and the ConfBridge conferencing application are part of the basic command set. It's one of those applications that I talked about a little while ago, and it takes really about 2 lines of dial plan script to get a conference bridge put together that could hold everybody in this room all on the phone at the same time. You have to size your hardware appropriately for the amount of load you're going to have, and of course you have to have the network capacity, but that isn't all that hard to solve these days with data center hosted solutions. So conference bridge is another really good money saver that you can get out of Asterisk. So Asterisk is, it's an open source project as much as it is anything else, and we're really looking for people to get involved. So I'm going to take you real quickly through, I've got about 30 seconds to go, it looks like.
You're actually 30 seconds over, but that's okay. I mean, well, I say it's okay because you're wrapping up, right? I'm
wrapping up, but I'm standing between people and their beer.
It's bad.
So, asterisk.org, our website, where you can go to download Asterisk. Downloads page, where you can actually download Asterisk. You'll also find instructions for using the package repositories that we have set up. So if you don't want to download the source code and compile it, you can actually hook it into your existing Linux distribution, as long as it's one of the 4 I mentioned, and install it directly from there, and that'll let you do maintenance of your system using either apt or yum, depending on which flavor of Linux you're running. Our community page, which keeps track of who's doing what in the community. Applications talks about some of the things that I just mentioned, what all you can build out of Asterisk. A developer page which talks about core development. So if any of you are interested in doing internal development, C development in Asterisk, or C++ development in Asterisk's big brother, which we just announced this last year, a new project called Asterisk SCF, come catch me and I will tell you who to talk to and how to get involved, because we're doing some really interesting things. Documentation, now this is the old documentation page. We actually have a whole wiki set up now that's filled with documentation that will tell you how to get Asterisk up and running. So lots of good stuff there. Support, if you decide to build an Asterisk solution as your production system, there's community support, and Digium also offers commercial support. So we'll be happy to help you with it. We have a Forge set up for Asterisk-related projects, where people are sort of hosting add-ons, components, things that don't actually fall in as part of the core project, but are closely related. And then we have the Exchange, which is the marketplace, and that's where you would go if you wanted to find phone service, or hard phones or soft phones, or pre-built implementations, or any of the commercial stuff that sort of surround the project. We have a conference of our own, and we invite everybody to attend. It's called Astricon. It's going to be held this next year in October. I think it's the 25th to the 27th, and it's going to be in Denver, Colorado. So come maybe a little bit early to go skiing, but you can hope maybe A-Basin will be open then. And Digium, the company that I work for, is the company that tries to be all things Asterisk, and we are the producers, of course, of the SwitchVox PBX I mentioned, and also of a line of telephony cards that allow you to do Asterisk to PSTN, Asterisk to phone network integration. We also offer training, and we offer support. So if you're in need of Asterisk-related service, come talk to us. And at that point, I'm 3 minutes over. I am between you and your beer, so go drink. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and attendance.
Applause, applause, applause.